It is just like it's the most obvious thing in the world. It really is what they told us it is, isn't it?
It is. It's just right here, and yeah, it just flows. It flows so sweetly, you know. It just flows
Yes,
right through, and it passes right through the glove or the puppet or the character, whatever you want to call it.
that's
It's
right. It's not about these units.
no.
Poor old units. But let's look at something. I want you to look and see what we've had our hopes pinned on. Is we've actually had all our hopes pinned on an imaginary character, haven't we? We've
Yes.
been waiting for the day. Listen to this. It's a character we made up. We've been waiting for the day when that imaginary character would come to see, finally, at last, please let it be permanent, dear God, that it was an imaginary character. It can't happen, can it?
It's
Lisa didn't wake up, did she?
this Lisa thing is just an imaginary thing. No.
That's
How
it.
do you wake up an imaginary thing?
I can't wake up what's not here.
Exactly. Exactly. And she can act out sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a possibility, even though she's imaginary.
That's right. And do you notice something? It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. I mean, I'm pretty clear on that, and that's what's sort of earth shattering.
Yes.
That even though she can act out,
it's okay.
Yeah, you see it's okay, and you realize that you kind of can't be responsible, but you are accountable for that acting out, and you do what you can do to make it right, and you make note of it, and then you just move on, and you just don't care. And I
That's
just
it.
say that, but it's true.
But you see my mantra now, what I mean by my mantra when I say that everything counts but nothing matters?
I do, and
Perfect.
everything in this world, everything that we do matters. It all matters.
It counts.
It counts. It all,
But
yeah, it all counts for something.
It does count for something. The way you and I treat each other counts.
It does, and
it
makes its mark. It makes its mark in other people. It makes its mark in whatever it does.
That's right.
Yeah. And
it all counts. Even the way I pick up this can counts. Everything counts. It's that tied. See, because it's not like everything's tied together. It's just that there's only one thing to begin with. And the one thing's been waiting to connect, merge with the one thing. It's insanity, isn't it? See, what happens is what's happening right now. It actually was happening before this session, but this session just gives you a big dose of it, is that you're actually going sane.
Yes.
And when you're going sane in an insane world, it can feel like I'm insane. Because what you're saying is that everybody's out of step but Johnny. But everybody actually is out of step with Johnny.
Yes, they believe their mind, they believe their thoughts, and it's hard to watch and it's hard to interact with sometimes, but just sort of persevere, you know.
But we noticed something, is that we said earlier that we didn't know what we were, and we don't know what's going on either, do we?
No.
So let me ask you this. Because now you're in the same boat I'm in now. You've been on an hour and a half and you've gone completely ignorant on me. Perfect. Since we do not know what we are and we don't know what's going on here, is there any possible way that we can know what should be going on here?
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
Not
Because
at all.
there is no should, is there?
No.
No.
Whatever is happening, and we don't really know what it is or why. We're just with it.
We don't need to know, do we?
No.
Because I don't know what I am, but I don't care. I don't know what's going on. I don't care. Everything, in the absence of a story about what should be going on, what I notice is that what is going on is pretty darn nice. Isn't that right? I have no objections whatsoever. In the absence of a Lisa, can you find a problem?
No, none.
Perfect.
There's no problem.
So if you were imagine for a moment that you're like the Greek goddess of suffering. And we don't know why that is. It just is. Again, we don't know why about anything. But so you're the Greek god of suffering, and your deal is you just love to suffer. And by suffering, what I mean is you love to ride the human roller coaster of victory and defeat, good and bad, and right and wrong, and fast and slow, and all of this whole thing. Successful, terrible. I'm in love. Oh, he hates me. We just love to ride that. You just love to ride that roller coaster because you're the Greek goddess of suffering. So, as the Greek goddess of suffering, you're in a predicament. Because what you found out here is that you're a goddess, and that makes it tough to suffer. You didn't know you were a goddess, but now you do know. You're a goddess, and it's very tough to suffer if you're a goddess, particularly if you're appearing to be alive in a perfect world. You know, this one.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's perfect, isn't it?
It's a perfect world. There's absolutely nothing wrong with anything that's going on.
No, there's not any of it. Even the quote bad stuff is just happening, isn't it?
It is happening.
It can't not happen. It's just one thing.
Yes.
There's just one thing going on. But we don't understand that. Well, at least until we get here. We think we do. Right? We think we know a lot. But this is not about coming to know. It's about coming to unknow, isn't it?
It really is. It's putting everything aside.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, I've had such a mental mind my whole life, and it's really been a process to put that aside, and I just need to continue to do that because.
Oh, wait, let me ask you this. Who is going to put it aside?
That old Lisa character thinks she's going to put it aside.
It's a house of cards, isn't it, dear?
It is. It's the conditioning, and that's going to be a process. But I'm cool with that.
Thank you so much.
I'm so cool with that. You know, that's fine.
That's perfect. That's real understanding, and we wake up to whatever level we wake up. Your awakening is very, very clear. You didn't fight me. We had a very easy session. We had fun. We laughed. And then when awakening occurs, you've got a lot of context. You've done a lot of reading and study and practice and all of this. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you can just connect all the dots, can't you?
Absolutely. It wasn't hard.
No, it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful. So I've recorded the last 20 minutes or so. I would love, with your permission, to do what I did with Wesley's awakening. Is that okay?
Sure.
Great. and I will put it on the website. So you and Wesley will be my rock stars.
Oh, wow. Well, I am a goddess after all.
That's right. Exactly. You're a goddess. Yeah. And, and if I was the goddess of suffering, and I just love to suffer, but I found myself, a goddess and living in a perfect world, I know what the first thing I'd do is I'd invent me a Lisa. And then I could suffer as much as I wanted. For as long as I wanted, until I didn't want to anymore. And at that point, this teaching would find me. It's not the teacher.
And that is exactly what happened, because you have no idea how much suffering this Lisa has done in her lifetime.
Yes, I do know, because you have to suffer a great deal before you're willing to come here.
Yeah.
Because even, telling yourself the truth is just not easy. But when we find out that actually it's much easier than suffering. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it has to happen. And it did, it happens.
Yeah.
And it happens.
And suffering has always been my friend.
I wouldn't be here today without it. That's really clear to me.
That's exactly right. It's the suffering that prepares us. The old saying is that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, but there's no teacher here, is there?
No. There's just me.
There's just you. There's no teacher. There's no student. There's a parent teaching going on, but no one's doing it. No one else is getting it.
It's so funny, Fred, because you've got your arms out like this, and I just want to pick my arms up and mirror you, because we're just the same. We're both just awakeness. That's it.
That's it. That's
only
it.
thing that's happening right here.
That's it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It's so nice to be able to talk to myself.
Yes, absolutely. And to have yourself make sense to yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you're going sane, the thing is that you're not going to get a lot of support from this point of view. You're not going to get hardly any support for this point of view in the world, are you?
Not in the world, no. And that's why I've always been on a constant vigil to try to find community, because you have to have that. You need it. I mean, that's how we make it.
Yeah. So, as Kathleen's, my friend Kathleen, one of my Kathleen's, Kathleen Sutherland, as she said in Satsangs, or she had a comment on YouTube yesterday, she said, we find out we can't do this on our own, and we wouldn't want to anyway.
No, exactly.
Exactly.
So
because we really do it alone, because there's only one. but it doesn't feel like it. There's still an ongoing experience of Fredness and Lisa-ness. Am I right? Oh, you froze.
You froze up, Fred.
There we go. Yeah, I froze up. You froze up. It's just the internet. We lost some here.
Okay.
It's fine. So we wouldn't want to do this on our own anyway. And notice that there's not going to be any graduation from this.
No.
And I don't know what you were sold, but I'm pretty sure that I was sold the idea. I know I bought the idea. I don't know what I was sold, but I know I bought the idea that awakening was graduation. It's not graduation from spirituality. It's actually the beginning of authentic spirituality, isn't it?
It's the beginning of living the authentic self completely, fully. Yeah.
Beautiful. You've got really great languaging skills at this already. So you'll want to take a very good look at that in the time to come. Okay.
Thank you for mentioning that. And yeah.
Yeah, because when it's this good, this fast, it always points to something for me.
Wow.
Just keep, and do me a favor. Keep coming to Satsang.
I will, and I missed last week. I can't recall what it was, but something was happening, and I'll try to come when I
Yeah.
can. I really
Just
will.
come whenever you can, because if you don't, as clear and bright as this thing is, it can be lost. This isn't a threat. It's just I'm giving you.
I'm very clear on that too. The diligence and the responsibility to keep this alive. I'm very clear about that.
Even though there's no one to do it, it's very clear, isn't it?
It is, and yes, yeah, that's it. I'm going to take care of it. Awareness is going to take care of itself by continuing
It's
to
going to
maintain
take care
it.
of itself. It absolutely is. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fred.
It's just been a wonderful meeting, and I'm truly grateful.
Thank you so much. It's really lovely to spend the time with you.
I'll see you in Satsang.
Okay, great.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.